Hi, hello everybody. I'm Carole Irby Gray from Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and I'm back on painting my Carousel horse from a photograph that I took in Montmartre, France many years ago. Okay, I'm so excited. I've got the image transferred onto I think it's a 16 by 16 inch canvas. And I go and I outline my outline. I go over it in a permanent Sharpie marker. The reason I do that is I do not want to lose the outline as I start to paint the image if I just did it lightly in graphite paper. These areas down here are just done lightly in graphite paper, and then I can paint slower down in here and paint up to the carousel horse. However, back in here it was kind of busy. I had a lot going on. You can see it's a beautiful carousel. It's got all types of railings up in here. It's got Art Deco type beautiful decorative brass images in the decorative in the architecture here. It's got lights. It's got the French painting of bouquets. It's got lights all back in here with railings. It's got railings up in here that are lost to the negative spaces. I just think it's awesome. When I took this there while I was on the trip, I just had images in my mind of the canary yellow, the purple, the coral, the brass, the metal, the black, the shininess of the lights illuminating with the orange, with the yellow in the center, the beautiful white horse with some green foliage in the background. I just couldn't wait to paint it. Okay, I've got it transferred. Let's get on it. I've got a new setup here. You got me some lights and a camera and a phone here. So we're gonna see what's gonna happen. So my camera is on my phone, iPhone. We'll see. I may have to go to a tripod with the regular camera. But I've come this far so far, so we'll see what happens. And I hope that you can see the image here. Okay, I'm painting up in the top part. And what I'm doing, when you hear me refer to something about pull the image down or pull the background down, that is the area in the back here that is all of the negative space. And when the negative space butts up to something in the image that you want to highlight or portray, it just comes up behind it and it makes it pop. So all of this really is negative space back in there coming up to this carousel horse. And these dark areas in here are really negative space. And you'll see some light illuminating in various places in the background and the top. And I've got those areas highlighted and accentuated. And here we go. I'm painting down in here. And I have some black and some ultramarine blue on my paintbrush mixed up. I'm using acrylic paints, by the way. Now, one thing that I never do is I never paint straight black. Black is a void of color, if you will. And if you paint just black, it looks dull and it loses its luster. So what I do, I have some black mixed up with some navy blue, Mediterranean blue in with it. And I just mix that. And whatever I'm painting in the black family, I just add something into it. I'll put my photograph right here so I can follow it. So I like to kind of move along quickly when I have a color on my paintbrush, although I stay in one area and I teach you to paint from the top down and from the back to the front. If I'm over here painting something and I have black on my brush and I'm not going to jump down here and paint something in black that I would smear when I lean across it, but I will certainly go right up in the area around it and go ahead and use that paint that is on my brush. Okay, so like right in this area here, what I'll do, I'll go ahead where I have black, and I'll go ahead and fill that in. I have a black railing going diagonal up here, and it crosses this one here. So I'll just go ahead and I will just dribble the brush across here, because this is not a steady bar here. It's got some movement in it. It's some type of an electrical coated something coming across here probably instead of a railing. I do think this is a railing that would be solid, and I think that that's a railing that would be solid. And keep in mind, when you're painting from original photographs, you are the artist and you make the interpretation of whether to leave something in or whether to take something out. It's like you edit your photograph as you go along. And basically that is what my tutorials in realism are about. It's how to interpret your photograph and how to bring it to life. How to bring it to life. I'm not sure what I'm supposed to be looking on the camera. I think I'm supposed to be looking down here to the left. I had to get that straight, so I don't know where to face. Okay, we'll get that all figured out. Okay, now what I'm going to do is right in here. You can barely see the railings coming down. So what I'm going to do, I've got some little areas of light dancing around up in there, dancing around up in here. So what I'm going to do, I know that that is a railing area. So I'm just barely going to just barely do a hint of dragging my brush down in this background here. It's just a hit and a miss of a post, if you will, in the background there. Don't worry about if it's crooked or if it's a little uneven. You are the artist. You are doing an interpretation of a photograph. You are making your interpretation of your photograph come to life. Okay? Alright, so I'm thinking now what I will do, I have a diagonal area right here, underneath this area up here, where the black comes down. So I think I'll just go right up in here with it. And then I think what I'll do, I think I would just go right ahead across over here and connect to where it comes right here. It just dawned on me that I did not have any background music playing, any YouTube music, free content YouTube music, free copyright music for YouTubers. I do like to paint with music, but like I said, it's kind of like if I forget to put something on, I'm so into the experience in my mind of painting right now that it's not like I have to have some music to make me have a particular painting experience. The experience is painting. And just kind of danced that along there to mimic, to get the illusion, the impression of that over there. Okay, so looking at my photograph, I think what I'll do is get some gold out, and then I can start to come on with the decorative ornamental gold. While I have the black on my paintbrush, let me see if there's any areas of black. Now keep in mind, I've got black with some ultramarine blue mixed in with it. See if there's any areas. And I think what I would do when I'm painting in realism, it takes a long time to paint a painting like this. And eventually, about year's end, these will be the type of paintings that you can log in and paint along with me. And, you know, it may take 10, 12 hours to paint something like this. And you would like to have the freedom to be able to paint 20 minutes at a time, an hour at a time when you can. You may not have 12 hours to sit down and paint anything. Well, the beauty of that would be able to paint in your own home, not have to go out and go to classes. And then you could paint with freedom. So what I'm doing now, I'm just moving along as I'm seeing an area that has a railing or a piece of wrought iron coming down through it. I'm going ahead and painting that while I have this black on my, and actually what I would like to do, since I just started doing this with this setup here this morning, let me stop this and check this and see if everything's working correctly. Okay, I'll be right back. Carole Irby Gray.